Hi everyone, and welcome back to Dimensional Wellness. This is DeeDee, and today we're going to be doing our new moon in Taurus on May 19th, moon scripting. So just a quick disclaimer that I'm not going to really be talking about astrological movements or anything like that. So what I'm doing with moon scripting is I'm talking about the energies that I feel are coming through, which very well could be, due to my own placements. But my idea is to talk about the feelings that I feel coming through for the new moons and full moons. Make sure that you subscribe so that we can do moon scripting together. So if you haven't heard of scripting, it's where you basically write your intentions for your life, right? And so with moon scripting, which I didn't invent this, I did not invent this, I'm just building on it. Moon scripting is where we write what we want to change for our lives in general. So on the new moon, you'd be writing things that you want to bring into your life, want to add to your life. Pretty much most of the time, that's what happens on the new moon. And then the full moon are things that you want to script, or you want to write out of your life. And so it's like you're the author of your own book. So what I want to do with moon scripting with the collective is more people catch on to the videos, to make sure that you share them. What I want to do is start scripting things into existence for the human collective at large. Kind of like lobbying the universe to be like, hey, the human collective could really benefit from this. And then the human collective could really benefit from this no longer existing in whatever form that it's in. Okay, so I just wanted to give a brief little thing about what it is, because of course most people who are going to be hearing my videos are going to be new to my channel. So like eventually I won't be giving this disclaimer about what it's about. So the new moon in Taurus is coming up on the 19th. Today is May 17th, so we got about 2 days. So it's always good to do the scripting, from what I have heard, 3 days before the moon or 3 days after. Now, I've also had my guides come in and tell me that, what's that saying? Oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now, but like, late is better than never. And also just with the energy behind it, that if there's like a certain moon that something happened around, you could retroactively do a moon scripting for it now, for back then, and then tell them to like put it retroactively into your Akashic record. Now, I feel like that starts metaphysically, really starts kind of doing some trippy stuff in the multiverse. Eventually on the channel, I'll be talking about shifting and things like that, but that's a real thing. That is a real thing. Even I had this experience last month where I don't know exactly what I was doing. And I mean, just like I was doing so much stuff that I don't know exactly what happened or if it was accumulation of things. But there's this burn that I've been having on my left hand for like 10 years. And then it shifted to my right hand. Like, I kid you not. Like, so I don't know what caused the shift and everything like that, but it's crazy. I also think that that's connected to Mandela effects. When you start shifting things in the astrals, it has an actual impact on this reality. But like I said, I don't know like the specifics of what actually causes that. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm just saying that if you do it retroactively, especially the ones where you're really guided to do it retroactively, it usually has some very, very big shifts in the collective past. So a little bit of discretion there if things start getting really strange after you do it. I've been doing moon scripts, so like the 2 years that we've been in Arizona, I have not been doing them consistently. I probably have done like maybe 1 or 2 since we moved to Arizona. But before that, it definitely helped me in getting out of Louisiana. So before that, I was pretty consistently doing them, and I noticed a lot of difference in just one basic thing of directing your life and setting your intention of what you want. If not anything else, your mind is such a powerful asset to you that it's kind of a disservice to allow it to just have free reign with all the different, hypnotic cues in life, all of the different programming, all the different belief systems. It's like way too powerful to just let it go without you being the driver of your body to set intentions for yourself and for your future and your path. So that's like kind of the spiel that I want to give, and I don't want to make this too long. I'm not going to do a pick a card reading with this one. The last two, I did do pick a card readings, but this one is much more serious of a topic, and I just want to focus on this one. So overall, on a personal level, I feel like this is a really good new moon to enjoy with family and friends. It feels like a very, very impactful new moon to really sit with and enjoy time with friends and family. This would be a really good time to do an ancestor altar. I know I was talking to a friend about doing an ancestor altar. This would be a really good time to do that, to connect with your spiritual family, times of just giving to them, if you have any relatives that have passed on that you want to connect to, setting intentions before you go to sleep. It feels like a very, very ripe time for that, like the sweetness of ripe fruit. It feels like a really good time to do that. Even we have some birthdays that we're going to celebrate that we haven't celebrated yet, and then one of our children, his birthday is on the 20th, and so we're going to celebrate either on tomorrow or on the 19th. So we're going to be ushering in this new moon, which wasn't planned, but I was like, oh, that makes sense. We're going to be ushering it in with celebrating birthdays. And then I also have a passed on relative whose birthday is May 18th as well. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling in my reality. And I think that just in general, that would be something to write your personal new moon script about. Bringing in and manifesting more celebration, more really genuine, and what's the word? It is genuine, but I'm not sure, like, what's the word? Like, really, I want to say succulent. These are like Taurus words: decadent, succulent, delicious. There's like a word that I'm trying to say that I don't remember. Oh, interesting. Does that say 703 July 3rd? There is a lot going on about July 3rd. I'll get to that later though. But what is the word? Like quality time. I think that's what I'm looking for. Really, really good quality time. Like, trying to create memories that will last. If you have kids, core memories that will last. That's what I'm feeling like for personally. Now, collectively, this is a big ask, but this is honestly what I have been feeling, and I'm going to link this down below, and this is a very sensitive topic, but there kind of seems to be this duality, right? Because Taurus represents the second house, and also the toroidal field, which can be like an apex, two lines meeting at a point. And so it can also represent like the two pillars of reality, also duality. And so there feels like there's this dual energy of doing something for the people who cannot be with their family or who are forcefully taken away from their family. And so for me in my life, how it's showing up right now, Ray is actually going to be going out to California for the 20th, on the 20th. And so he's going to be at Pomona County Fair. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I saw this video of this woman who was talking to some group of people. I don't know. I was just listening to it. I don't know all the details. But she was talking about the social work system, I think, and how specifically at Pomona County Fair, there are children who are Guatemalan who speak their indigenous language. They don't speak Spanish, right? Because Spain is a part of Europe, not indigenous First Nation people, who get trafficked at the Pomona Fair. And it was so interesting because I didn't even really put two and two together until this morning, because I kept getting all these feelings about like children being kidnapped and stolen from parents and all these crazy things. And I'm like, are you trying to say, like, is there something in the air that we should be worried about with the kids? And then I thought about Pomona, you know, like the fair is coming up. And I remember that Ray performed there in 2019. And I remember commenting just with all the energy, I was like, this is like the perfect place to kidnap people. This is the perfect place to traffic, because it's like, you know, shoulder to shoulder people there, and it's just droves of people, and it's this energy of just very fast moving energy, and it would be very easy to grab kids here. And so I remember when we were thinking about going back in 2020, we had like a very, very deep discussion about it, because, you know, there's something going on, and as I don't think it's really a great time to go, and I don't really want to bring the kids. And so we had a discussion about it, and I was like, you know, you're not going to be able to watch them. And I was like, that is the perfect place to snatch a child. I was like, I just, within me, I don't know like exactly why, other than just a strong feeling that it's not safe to bring your kids there. It's not safe for little kids there. I mean, maybe not even for teenage girls and stuff like that, really. I mean, I don't want to put too much of a damper on it, but it is a damper. It's also a reality that's going on. And then literally like 2 weeks ago, this woman specifically said it. So I'm going to leave the link to it, and then I'm going to leave next to the link the timestamp. So the timestamp that highlights is not for my video. It's for the video with the link, because it'll probably highlight it and then it'll take you to a timestamp in my video. But it's actually for the Pomona video of where she talks about Pomona County Fair specifically and the Guatemalan children. And if you have seen my second podcast episode, which is my QHHT session in Operation Sophia, you know that I have a very, very soft spot for Guatemala also. So anyways, the second one, so I'm talking about doing two different ones, one that's personal and then one that's for the collective. And if you only get to the collective one, that's the one that I really highly suggest. If you only get to the collective, you can always go back, because even though like I'm putting these out, I haven't done one for like myself and the collective each time either. So I'm just putting that out there, because I do think that setting the intention as well. You don't have to always, you know, completely write it out and then do the whole ceremonial kind of part of it, but setting an intention and stating it outside. I usually do that. If I don't get to do like the actual paper, I'll stand outside and state it in the wind. Like the neighbors are like, there's that girl talking to the wind again in her backyard. Okay, so anyways, just to like recap, okay, for the collective one, you know, something along the lines that we really need reinforcements down here to make some leaps and bounds with the trafficking situation of kids and women and, you know, all people who get trafficked. I mean, I don't hear about men getting trafficked as much, but that could also be a reality. Just knowing this world, it could be a reality too. So, you know, I do not consent to the passiveness of, you know, universal frequencies or whatever helping to shut down these trafficking circles, trafficking rings, and the governments, you know, across the globe, their part in it. Now, of course, that's going to go to human beings as well, right? But why I'm focusing more on, you know, calling in like supernatural or deity or angelic reinforcements is because they also have the gift, right, to be outside of time and to influence time. They also have the gift to, or ability or whatever, to see things before they happen. And so I'm like, I have been in situations, like I'll talk about this and I'm going to get off of here. After Ray had this like viral moment in 2019, right? Right after that, in July, there was this huge, I won't say huge, but for a city that doesn't have good drainage, there was this like storm that came through New Orleans and we had to leave and go. Okay. And during that time period, I started having these feelings that we shouldn't go back to New Orleans. And so I was telling him about that, you know, even before this actual, no, this was actually later, never mind. So I had these feelings that we shouldn't go back to New Orleans. But of course, you start to get feelings before the actual divine timing of you leaving. And so I wasn't exactly sure if it was saying that we shouldn't go back to New Orleans at that particular point, or that there was something that was building up for us to know that New Orleans was coming to an end, right? And so then there was like another event that happened later on, I think probably in August or something. And in that, after we came back from that event, came back to Louisiana again, I had this dream that we should have just stayed away from New Orleans. So all of these things about moving away from New Orleans, right? That it just, something was in the works. And then a little bit later, after we had our daughter, because I was pregnant at the time, multiple people, and I can't even tell you how, but multiple people ended up having dreams that Ray could get shot in New Orleans on the street corner where he was performing. And we didn't all have them at the same time. I didn't even know about all the people that had the dream at the time that we were having the dream. When I say me, I'm talking about me and my family, because Ray didn't have this dream, but I was having this feeling. I had another family member at the time who I knew was having the feeling. And then later on, we found out that somebody else's wife had a dream. Later on, we found out that another relative was feeling it. Later on, another friend was feeling it. And then even just recently, when we moved all the way to Arizona, you know, and clearly got out of Louisiana, there was another woman who was like, during that time period, I was also getting that, but I didn't want to bring negative news. And so anyways, we took that information and we got Ray up out of Louisiana. Off the street corner first, because it was a process, but then out of Louisiana completely. Because for whatever reason, there was a timeline where there was jealousy, whatever, I don't know. There was a timeline where something could have happened to him, okay? And we saw that in advance. Now, the crazy part is when we actually moved to Arizona within that first year, he heard about at least 2 shootings on that corner that he would have been standing on. And then somebody actually drove a car into the business on this corner that he used to stand on. And so do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm sticking it to them because I know in my life that there is the possibility that you get warned way before time. Hey, your child's going to be in danger. Hey, if you keep going to this park, somebody could take them. Do you know what I'm saying? And like with the shooting situation, it didn't even seem like it was anything that was personal to Ray, but there was just something in the air in that corner that was revving up that was like, you need to get off of this corner. And it was like, really just get out of New Orleans in general, because something in New Orleans is revving up in general. But first off of the corner. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't bring your kid here. Stop doing this. Like, get custody of your child and take your child away from the father, because the father has got weird stuff going on. You know, even I've had family members that I'm like, you know, there's certain stuff going on at home and you probably need to intervene. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, of course we have humans and they have accountability as well. But I look at, you know, these other beings that they have a little bit more freedom to, or abilities, or, you know, something where they can start moving people out of the way, you know, like cars can start breaking down and then they get, you know, Like, I'm sitting in my head, like, somebody's tire could blow out who's trying to kidnap kids, you know, right in front of a police station. And then police station sees that the license plate is, you know, not registered to the right car. Something like, do you know what I'm saying? There's so many ways that this can play out to where this, like, shouldn't really be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. So that's what I wanted to offer for this. Make sure that you share it with a friend. You guys do this together. And even when you hear it, you know, I'm putting it out right before Pomona, so it won't, you know, I'm not sure how many people it's going to reach this time. But share it with a friend for next year, for other big major events, Super Bowls, concerts. I mean, especially Super Bowls, like big, huge events like Bio Classic and stuff like that. Essence Fest, those are really big times where people also get kidnapped and, you know, taken, sold into sex slavery, you know, grabbed and all type of stuff. So just putting a wall of spiritual protection around people in general, and then incapacitating in some type of way people who want to play out these things. So that's what I have for the new moon in Taurus. I know it was heavy, but unfortunately that is a reality in this collective reality, and it really needs to come to a stop. So I'm sending you lots of hugs. I hope that you join me in doing this. I hope you share it with your friends and you guys do it with me. Whenever you do it is good, and just cast your lot to the universe. Like, hey, we as a collective are waking up and we are actively asking together in unison for this to come to an end. All right. Bye.